Open your notebook to today's date and look at the attachment that was taped to your notebook for 7.6 graphing system of inequalities. Look at this example when you're working 7.6 worksheet tonight for the homework. So the first thing you have to do is understand that there are two lines. The first one is a solid line, the second one is a broken line. So let me call one of them as the first line. So this one, the solid line, I'm going to use it as my first line. So for the first line, which in this case, let me highlight and show you, I'm talking about this line. So for the first line, look at the notes, and the first step is find the slope. So you need to take 2 points which falls in the line. So the first point I'm going to take it is 0, 2. The second point that I'm going to take is -3 and +3. So the second point is -3, +3. So these are the 2 points that falls on this line, which once again I'm going to show you in yellow. So this is the line I'm talking about. So I'm taking 2 points. So the first point is 0, 2, and the second point I'm taking is 0, -3, 3. Now use these 2 points to find the slope. So I'm going to use m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. And I'm going to label this as my x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm going to replace this. So this becomes 0 minus 2 divided by -3 minus 0. Simplify this to get 1 over -3, which is -1 over 3. Now the negative sign will also tell you that the line is sloping down. So if you're not getting the negative sign, go back and check your numbers. So this is a negative slope because it slopes down. So the first step is done. Now look in your notes. It's telling you to find the y-intercept. So look at the graph. The y-intercept is when the line crosses a y-axis. And that is the point when your x is 0. So 0, 2, the line crosses a y-axis at 2. So your y-intercept B is 2. Now write the equation as y equals mx plus b. So once you write y equals mx plus b, it's going to look like y equals minus 1 over 3x plus 2. So you got the equation for the line. Now what you need to do is, you need to look at the graph and look at the shaded space and look at the dotted line, solid line. So once again, look at your notes. Now, once you got y equals -1 over 3x plus 2, now remove this equal sign. So the equal sign, you need to replace it by the less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So these are the 4 options you got. Now look at the line. The line is solid. So since the line is solid, that means you need to erase this and this, because a solid line will have the equal sign. So you got 2 options to choose from. Now this is the less than symbol. So now look at the shading that is done. The shading is done below this line. Since the shading is done below this line, so that means it's going to be less than. So you choose this symbol and you write it in your inequality. So that'll be the first one. Put this aside and put a circle or a box surrounding it. Now let's go for the second equation. So now take the second line. So when I'm talking about the second line, I'm talking about this. So the first line is done. Now I'm talking about the second line, which is the dotted line. So don't worry about this anymore. So now do the same thing. Find the slope. So that'll be the first step. Look in your notes, just what I gave. So pick any 2 points that falls on the line. So one of the point I'm going to choose is here. So this is going to be 0, -3. And the second point I'm going to choose is this, which is going to be 2, 0. Now once again, use the slope intercept form. So which is, you need to find the slope first. So let's say, so this will be x1, y1, x2, y2. Substitute the numbers in the right place. So you got to be cautious. 0 minus, that's another -3 over 2 minus 0. So this gives you 3 over 2. Now focus on the slope. The slope in this case is positive because the line goes up. That is why you're ending up with a positive number. So your m is 3 over 2. So once you get your m as 3 over 2, now let's focus on the y-intercept. Look at the half a sheet of notes which is given to you. So now the y-intercept is when the line crosses the y-axis. So this line crosses the y-axis at this point. So this point is going to be negative 3. So now you need to use y equals mx plus b. You did all these calculations to figure this on. So now you have y. Let me remove everything. And so your b was negative 3. So you have y equals 3 over 2 minus 3. Y equals 3 over 2x minus 3. Y equals mx plus b. So once you figure this equation, after you're writing the equation, now remove this equal sign. Now you got to replace it by less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Now look at the solid line. If the line is solid, then you have to remove this and this because a solid line will not have the equal sign. Now this is a less than, this is a greater than symbol. So if you look at this line and look at what is shaded, everything is shaded above this line. So since it is shaded above this line, that means it's going to be greater. So you're going to use a greater than symbol, which is this. So now you have this as your second inequality. So the first one that you circled is the first inequality, and the second one is the second inequality. So combine them together. So your answer will be y is less than or equal to minus 1 over 3x plus 2. Y is greater than 3 over 2x minus 3. And this is the final answer. So you wrote the system of inequalities from a graph. Now continue with your worksheet. Do all the work in your on a piece of paper and put the answer on the worksheet. So I collect these papers from you when I see you the next time.